please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you know when we go live. Check us out over at patreon.com/workingfanspodcast. What was especially not terrible was AEW Revolution. This is one that going into it, I'm like, I know it's going to be good. I don't know if I'm going to pick it up. I bought it at the last minute. I was not disappointed. Dave, have you been able to watch the whole show? I've seen everything except for the main event right now.
I saw most of the main event. I saw the ending of the main event. I thought the main event was kind of long. Actually, that's what might be one complaint. That was like kind of zoning in and out because the main event was so long.
The whole show was so long. Like, even I watched it the next day and I was like, I was seeing so many good matches happen, but I'm like, I've been watching this for 3 hours.
Yeah.
I'm like, where's the ladies match? Where's Bandito? And I kept remembering more matches as the show went on. So they deliver for money, but it's like, it's almost like when you have too much ice cream and you're like, fuck, I should have like eased up. And that's what this show felt like. It felt like too much ice cream, but it was great. FTR versus the Bucks was one of my favorite matches.
Yep.
It lived up to everything I expected.
Adam Copeland and Christian Cage showed up like right after that too. And they kind of teased, that to me, we found out on Dynamite that they got Adam Copeland and Christian Cage against FTR at AEW Dynasty coming up. But to me, the big tease here is we're looking at a 3-way possibly, for like a TLC style, like ladder match, like with the Hardys and the Dunleavys, but with the Bucks and FTR, here comes Edge and Christian Cage. And I thought that's exciting. And what's funny is that was the first match on the show, but on the main show. But that's because the pre-show match, again, AEW's been doing this, tipped into the main show, which was a battle royal where Ricochet, who we talked to, ended up losing the national title to Jack Perry.
Whole reason that I ended up watching this the next day, because like I was watching it I had it on my phone on the way home from work. I was, hooked on this battle royal that it was ending with it. Then when I saw it was running into the main show, I'm like, oh shit. And then I saw the result. I saw FTR and Young Bucks were starting. I'm like, I want to settle in and watch this. And then by the time I had fallen so far behind, I was just trying to keep up with shorts that I was like, you know what? I'll just catch the news as it breaks. I'll make a short for it. And then I will watch this the next day. But that battle royal was great. Feel good story to end on.
Yeah. And you go from that battle royal, right, to the Bucks FTR, like we talked about with the return of Christian and Adam Copeland. And then the next match was Toni Storm defeating Marina Shafir. And then Ronda Rousey shows up like right after that. So it was like,
that was huge. I gotta ask, what do you make of Rousey being in AEW? Is she in AEW officially, or is this an appearance, maybe a little bit more working together? How do you see this?
Right now, it looks like right now, it just seems like an appearance, but I'm hoping that they do have her for more because I think she's good for AEW. I know some fans might not be crazy about her, but right now she has a she has a big fight coming up with Gina Carano on Netflix. And, if she wins that fight too, assuming she will, like this is great for AEW to kind of be attached to her. And she's been kind of really been going after UFC and TKO lately, with comments they don't pay. So now she could be with the rival wrestling promotion. And if you're AEW and you're being attached to a name like Ronda Rousey, but this goes to that double standard we were talking about earlier too, because Ronda's made some comments in the past about Sandy Hook and stuff that she apologized for and she was good about. If you ever heard about that, she said Sandy Hook was a conspiracy when she was younger and all this shit, and she apologized for that. It's been years, and she said she was young and stupid and she wished she never said it. And I know John Pollock talked about this too, and he said, if you look at it, like when she apologized, it actually was like more people didn't know about it because it had been covered up so well. So like you could tell that her apology was probably sincere because it didn't do her any good, but she really just wanted to get it out there. But that being said, if her name wasn't Ronda Rousey, I do wonder if WBD would look at that and go, we don't want nothing to do with you.
Yeah, that's when you start making those qualifications like, that was a good enough apology. You heard it. It was multiple words. She got into her feelings, and maybe it's because it's something that happened in, I don't know, Jay Briscoe was in the past and he had so many people come to him, but it's like, if you're a big corporate entity, you're going to want Ronda Rousey, especially with all this. It kind of sucks because that she's not going to be in the ring until that fight happens.
Right.
But she can still do some appearances. Like, this was one that I thought was wild, but like, I didn't go all in at first. I was like, I kind of want to see what happens.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's going to be a part of this group, you know, kind of, is she going to be one of those lucky people that just works for AEW? Because we've said some people haven't worked in WWE, they do great in AEW.
Yeah.
Some people haven't worked with AEW, they flourish in WWE. So which side of the coin do you think she's going to land on here?
I think she'll do fine because she's got people there like Marina Shafir and, you know, John Moxley, who's, you know, and Roderick Strong and all those people, like, you know, are actually kind of like fans of MMA and jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. So I think there's enough people around her in AEW that would work with her. And I think she's going to she'll be one of those few people that have a similar type thing in WWE and AEW because she's Ronda Rousey. Because that, you know, like, I do see what you're saying. Like, in WWE, everything was very structured for her, so that's great. And it's like, well, AEW is not really like that, but I bet it will be for Ronda. You know what I mean? I bet they'll do what Ronda needs and wants, and they'll be happy just to have her on board. I mean, I think perfect world, man. If you could get a match with her booked like close to the fight, like coming off the heels of that fight, and if she got a win or something like that, then oh man, you know, like that would make some headlines. And if she won like the AEW Women's title like the next day, or even the tag titles with Shafir, it'd be like that would be crazy. Like, I don't know what they have, I don't know what they could do, but I think Ronda Rousey is arguably potentially the biggest story to come out of the pay-per-view that was huge.
If she loses that fight, does it hurt her in AEW at all, do you think?
Probably depends how she loses it. It could, you know, because sometimes wrestling fans are just funny like that. But she's also could go in as a heel, you know, and she could kind of like always kind of work with it. But yeah, I think it'd be more momentum if she won. Let's put it that way.
100%. And then when you thought like this was the biggest news, like not that Will Ospreay overshadows it, but that was a huge return.
But who saw, you know, Moxley then beats Takeshita in a great match afterwards to celebrate. And then we see, you know, the video of Will Ospreay, you know, and a lot of people talked about, to me, it almost reminded me of like Wolverine trapped in like the thing, and he's healing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Will Ospreay comes back, and man, it's kind of crazy to think this guy's coming back from like double neck fusion surgery so fast. And it's kind of dangerous and it's a little scary, but it's also kind of cool just to see this crazy athlete in the wrestling business do all this stuff. So, and again, it just added to this night. And to me, it was like the rest of this show was really good. But like, if you just take this first part of the show, it was like bam, bam, bam. You know,
that's what was crazy to me, because you're like 2 hours in at this point, and you're like, how many matches do we have left?
Yeah.
And like the pacing was weird because like for a while I'm like, I thought we'd get Bandito Andrade earlier, like maybe somewhere in the middle. No, that was like near the end.
So that, because I'm just looking at it right now. And so that was, even counting the pre-show, right, which had matches on it, that was match 6, right? That Will Ospreay, there was 13 matches. So he still had 7 more to go.
Yeah, that's like the halfway point of this shit.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. And well, we had a women's tag team championship change. Megan Bain and Lena Cross afterwards won the tag titles. Swerve Strickland and Brody King. But then we got another return where Kenny Omega came back at the end of that to help Swerve. He hadn't been gone for too long. But again, that was
he's
good.
Been in and out. Like he's had matches, but it seems like anytime he shows up, it feels like a big deal now. And it's like we're feeling like peak AEW where you've got Moxley, Omega, Ospreay, MJF all wrestling at the same time.
Yeah, Tekla went on to be successful. She's doing great. You know, that was a good match. And then Mystico and Jet Speed win the trios titles from the Don Callis family, and Mystico gets announced as All Elite after this too. So he's an official like AEW contracted wrestler right now too. So that was another big moment.
He's got that same thing that Claudio just signed where he's kind of like AEW and CMLL.
Yes.
So it's interesting that way.
And then Andrade and Bandito, which you talked about, like we finally got that match now. You know, and Andrade continues the momentum. I don't think there was a return or anything in that one. I'm trying to remember because it was so much stuff.
That's the funny thing. So much happened on this card. You really have to remember, be like, did anything big happen here? Could I have possibly missed something?
Darby Allin, Roderick Strong, Orange Cassidy defeated the Dogs. And then finally, MJF defeated Hangman Page. And again, and this is big news too, because of that storyline or that stipulation where Hangman Page can no longer challenge for the title. Which, by the way, that is one thing I would say that is a sour moment on this pay-per-view is, again, hated that stipulation, hated it with Cody, don't like the fact that you'd taken one of your top wrestlers and say they can never compete for the world title because now you either have to break that stipulation or you literally took one of your best wrestlers out of the world title picture.
100%. Yeah, it was weird, and it led to like a weird situation with Cody. So it's like, where's it gonna go with Paige? Has Tony Khan figured it out? Because it seems like he really is stuck on this stipulation. And will this be the time that it works?
I don't know. He said afterwards, I guess Jake, one of the friends of ours, posted in the chat that Tony was saying, what I have is a verbal agreement with Hangman Page. He's not going to challenge for the title. It's not written. So it's like, you're kind of already, to me, you're already trying to work around this, you know? So
I guess I don't hate it. I'll have to see how it plays out.
Don't get me wrong. I don't want to sound like one of these extremists. Like, it's not going to stop me from watching AEW or wrestling. I just don't like it when companies make stipulations like this if you don't plan on holding it, because I think one of the great things about AEW is that it is different from WWE. And this is kind of a WWE thing in the past that they did where they don't honor their stipulations. You know, WCW as well.
100%. And Dave, the wrestling conversation is going so well that I hate to interrupt it.